The theater hums with low anticipation. That familiar America's Got Talent energy buzzing in the air. Hope, nerves, curiosity, all mixed together. The stage lights glow softly in shades of blue and gold, reflecting off the polished floor. The audience has seen magicians, dancers, comedians, and singers all night, yet there's still that feeling that something might happen, something no one expects. From backstage, a man steps forward. He doesn't rush, he doesn't pose. He walks calmly, almost humbly, toward the center of the stage. He appears to be in his early 40s, with neatly combed black hair and a face marked not by fame, but by years of responsibility. He wears a simple black suit, clean and pressed, with a subtle Elvis-style collar, just enough to hint at inspiration, not imitation. As he reaches the spotlight, the audience offers polite applause. Not roaring, not dismissive, just curious. Terry Crews beams, as always. "Welcome, what's your name?" The man grips the microphone gently, taking a small breath before speaking. "My name is Raphael," he says, his Filipino accent soft but steady. "And where are you from, Raphael?" Terry asks. "I'm from the Philippines," Raphael replies. A few cheers ripple through the crowd. Simon Cowell leans back in his chair, arms crossed, his expression unreadable. Sofia Vergara smiles warmly. Howie Mandel tilts his head slightly, studying Raphael, already sensing there's more beneath the surface. Terry nods. "So, Raphael, what do you do for a living?" Raphael hesitates for just a moment, not because he's ashamed, but because he's choosing his words carefully. "I'm a bus driver," he says. "I drive long routes, sometimes 12 hours a day." The audience murmurs softly. "And singing?" Terry follows. "Is that your full-time job?" Raphael shakes his head. "No. Singing is my night job, my heart job." That line lands quietly but powerfully. A few people in the audience smile. Someone whispers, "Aw!" Simon leans forward slightly now. "So why America's Got Talent?" he asks. "Why are you here?" Raphael looks out into the sea of faces, then back at the judges. His hands tremble just a little, but his voice doesn't. "I grew up very poor," he begins. "When I was a boy, my father worked many jobs. My mother sang while cooking. Music was our escape. The room grows still. When I was tired, when I felt invisible, I listened to Elvis Presley," Raphael continues. "His voice made me believe I could be more than my life." Simon raises an eyebrow. "Elvis?" he says. "That's a big name to throw out." A few audience members chuckle nervously. Raphael nods respectfully. "Yes, sir, I know. Many people try Elvis. Many fail." Simon doesn't smile. "So why Elvis?" Simon presses. "Why should we listen to another Elvis-style singer?" Raphael takes a deep breath. "This is the moment that matters. Because," he says softly, "when I sing Elvis, I don't feel poor. I don't feel small. I feel like a king, even if only for 3 minutes." The audience reacts instantly. An audible awe spreads through the theater. Sophia places a hand over her heart. Howie nods slowly, even Simon pauses, his skepticism softening just a fraction. Terry steps in gently. "That's a beautiful answer," he says. "So, Raphael, what will you be singing for us today?" Raphael smiles for the first time. Not a big smile, a real one. "I will sing an Elvis classic," he says, "a song about love and waiting and hope." The stage lights dim slightly as the band readies themselves. Terry gestures toward the center of the stage. "Whenever you're ready, Raphael, show us your king." Raphael walks to his mark. The spotlight tightens around him, isolating him from everything else, the judges, the crowd, the world outside. For a brief moment, he closes his eyes. In that silence, he isn't a bus driver. He isn't a struggling dreamer. He isn't an unknown man on a massive stage. He is just a voice, about to be heard. The first note is seconds away. The first note floats into the theater, soft, smooth, almost hesitant. It's not loud, it's not dramatic, but it's perfect. Raphael's voice carries a warmth that instantly quiets the room, like someone gently turning down the noise of the world. Conversations stop, phones lower, every ear leans in. Within seconds, the atmosphere changes. The sound isn't an imitation of Elvis, It's a feeling, a deep, honeyed tone that feels familiar yet entirely new. The band follows him carefully, almost respectfully, as if they sense they're accompanying something special. Simon Cowell's pen freezes mid-air. Sofia Vergara's smile fades into a look of disbelief. "Oh my God," she whispers. Howie Mandel shifts forward in his seat, eyes wide. "That tone is insane," he murmurs. Raphael stands still at center stage, one hand resting lightly on the microphone. The other relaxed at his side. His posture is calm, controlled. No unnecessary movements, no showmanship tricks. Just confidence built from years of singing alone late at night after long workdays. As the melody unfolds, his voice grows richer, deeper. Each lyric sounds lived in, as if he isn't singing a song but his story. There's longing in his phrasing, patience in the pauses, pain tucked gently between notes. The camera cuts to the audience. A woman in the front row presses her hand to her chest. A man nods slowly, eyes closed. Someone in the balcony wipes away a tear they didn't expect to fall. Raphael reaches the pre-chorus and his voice lifts effortlessly, not forced, not strained. The control is flawless. The pitch is locked in. It's the kind of singing that doesn't ask for attention. It commands it. Simon sits up straight now, arms uncrossed. When the chorus arrives, Raphael opens his eyes. The sound expands. His voice fills the theater, wrapping around the audience like velvet. There's power now, but it's disciplined power, never shouting, never pushing, just a steady, golden resonance that feels timeless. The audience begins to clap along instinctively, not because they were told to, but because their bodies can't help it. Sofia leans toward Howie. "Where has this man been hiding?" she whispers. Howie shakes his head. "This is real. This is real." Raphael slightly tilts his head, adding a subtle Elvis-style vibrato, just a touch, never overdone. It's enough to honor the legend without becoming a copy. Simon exhales, slowly. By the second verse, the crowd is fully engaged. People are smiling, swaying, some quietly singing along. There's joy here, but also something heavier, something earned. Raphael closes his eyes again as he approaches the bridge. His brow tightens, not from effort, but from emotion. This is the part of the song where his life seeps through, the years of waiting, of hoping, of singing without being heard. He holds a note, longer than expected. Perfect breath control, perfect pitch. The band pulls back, letting his voice stand alone. The theater goes completely silent. When he releases the note, it's gentle, almost fragile, like setting something precious down carefully. Simon's jaw tightens. His eyes shine. As the final chorus builds, Raphael gives everything, but still, never too much. The mark of a true vocalist. He steps slightly away from the mic, letting his voice ring freely through the room. The audience rises, first one row, then another. By the final note, the entire theater is on its feet. Raphael finishes with a classic, controlled vibrato, lowering the microphone slowly as the music fades. He opens his eyes, almost startled by what he sees. Hundreds of people standing, cheering, applauding just for him. For half a second, there is silence. Then the applause erupts. Cheers crash like waves. Whistles pierce the air. The standing ovation is instant and overwhelming. Raphael's hands begin to shake. He bows his head, overwhelmed, one hand covering his mouth. Tears well up as he whispers something no microphone catches, perhaps a prayer, perhaps a thank you. Terry Crews watches from the wings, grinning. Simon doesn't clap right away. He simply stares, processing what just happened. Then he stands. That moment alone sends the crowd into another roar. Raphael looks up, eyes wide, disbelief written across his face. He came in quietly. He sang honestly. And in 3 minutes, the unknown man from the Philippines just turned an AGT stage into his throne. The applause refuses to die down. Raphael stands frozen at center stage, chest rising and falling quickly, as if he's just finished. A marathon instead of a song. The cheers echo from the balcony, the floor, the aisles, every corner of the theater alive with sound. He blinks repeatedly, trying to understand what he's seeing. Terry Crews steps onto the stage, clapping hard, shaking his head in disbelief. "Raphael," he calls out. "Look at this crowd." Raphael turns slowly, his eyes glistening. He presses a hand to his chest. "I don't know what to say," he whispers. This is too much." The audience cheers again. Terry smiles gently. Well, take it in. This is for you. The judges are still standing. Sophia wipes beneath her eyes. Howie nods repeatedly. Simon remains upright, arms at his sides, expression intense. Sophia speaks first. Raphael, she says, her voice warm and emotional, that was beautiful. You didn't come here to copy Elvis. You came here to tell your story using his music. And that, she gestures toward the crowd, is why everyone felt it. Raphael bows his head respectfully. Thank you, ma'am. Howie leans forward, his tone thoughtful. You know what I love most? You didn't try to impress us. You trusted your voice. You trusted the song. That confidence, that's not something you can teach. The audience applauds. Howie continues, your voice feels safe, like it belongs in people's homes, on their radios. That's a rare gift. Raphael's eyes fill again. He nods, unable to speak. Then all eyes turn to Simon. Simon Cowell pauses longer than usual. He glances down at his desk, then back up at Raphael. The room grows quiet, so quiet you can hear the rustle of clothing, the soft hum of stage lights. Raphael, Simon finally says, slowly, carefully, I'm going to be honest with you. The audience leans in. When you said Elvis Presley, Simon continues, I rolled my eyes. A few nervous laughs ripple through the crowd. I've heard thousands of singers. I've heard hundreds try. Elvis. Most of them don't understand why he worked. Simon stands still, choosing every word. But you, he says, pointing gently toward Raphael, you understand something very important. You didn't perform like Elvis. You performed with heart. The applause swells, but Simon raises a hand slightly, continuing, there was no ego, no gimmicks, just honesty, and that is far more powerful than any high note. Raphael wipes his eyes, his shoulders shaking. Simon exhales, his voice softening. You came here as a bus driver from the Philippines, he says. But tonight, on this stage, you sounded like someone who belongs on a world tour. The crowd erupts. Raphael breaks. He covers his face with both hands, sobbing openly now. Terry steps forward and places a supportive hand on his shoulder. Simon adds, this competition is about moments, and what you gave us tonight, he pauses, then smiles slightly, was a golden one. The audience rises again, louder than before. Terry hugs Raphael, lifting him slightly off the ground. This is why we do this show, Terry says into the mic. Raphael gathers himself, still emotional. All my life, he says, voice trembling, I sang on buses, in small rooms, for no one. Tonight I sang for the world. The crowd cheers. Terry nods. Well, the world heard you. The judges prepare to vote. Yes, Sophia says instantly. Yes. Howie follows without hesitation. Simon looks at Raphael one more time. You already know my answer, he says. Yes. Confetti doesn't fall. A buzzer doesn't slam. But the moment doesn't need it. As Raphael walks off the stage, the camera lingers on him one last time, his back straight now, his steps lighter. A man who walked in quietly and walked out transformed. A Filipino dreamer, a golden voice. And on this night, a new king was crowned by applause.